Millimetrics headquarters in Montreal, Canada.
You could call it that. Yeah.
I think I will call it that.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
what I'm going to call it.
Sure.
So we are here a week on from, or almost a week on from the Sonore Festival. It was so great to visit Canada and Montreal and to exhibit at what I think is a really modern, well-organised, well-attended
Thank
show.
you very much.
I thought it'd be nice to have a little debrief. How was it? How did it go? Now the dust is settled.
Well, I think it was the best year of all three. I think we're growing like slowly but surely, and like yeah, so much amazing performances. Luthier's exhibiting good hangs and yeah, so much good stuff.
Any highlights that you can think of, like whether that's, because I know you had your guitar demoed on the first evening by
Oh
Brad.
yeah. That was a pretty good one. My wife and I have been big fans of Brad Barr since we started dating, and it was, I think, really important that we had him at the show, and he played that exact guitar.
Yeah, and
So
made it sound amazing.
yeah, it was pretty cool with the dual amp. It was sounding great. So yeah, that was an amazing moment. Maybe yeah, Julian Lash playing too.
He was. I'd never heard of him before.
Yes, I was very much looking forward to that, and yeah, it didn't disappoint.
He was a very very expressive player.
Yeah.
Just kind of free. What would you call it? Like free form jazz.
Just like I think
it
it mixes so many influence of jazz inside one style. Cause he can play like vintage American jazz, like I don't know, 30s 50s jazz, and also he can do like more experimental stuff, which is very interesting, and yeah, I think he's a one of the most best player on the, if not the best player on the jazz player on the planet right now.
Yeah, he was.
Because
It was really awesome.
very original, and oh gosh, his TK Smith was looking oh so amazing. So yeah.
And it was a really great draw and like an addition to the show as well. Like I think there was a lot of people who might not have come otherwise.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming an important part of Sonore. We might have a show each day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing sure now, but I think it's really good because everybody takes a break, listen to a bit of music for just not even an hour. So it goes on quite fast, and it's not annoying for the people that don't really want to listen to music. But yeah, I think it was a really good formula, and I think we're gonna look into having more performances for the future shows.
I think that was something that speaks of the festival as a whole. Is that it's a very holistic experience. It's not just the shows that I'm used to, which is acoustic guitar. We had some boutique pedals, we had boutique builders, we had performances. On the first night we had some really nice local beers.
Yep.
We had some great coffee stand as well. All the artwork, the presentation of the show was beautiful. Custom made tables. The layout was really well thought of, and there was a lot of local builders as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of younger builders too.
Yeah, that's one thing that's very important for us at Sonore, is that we want to not just have the most well-known luthiers in the world. We want to have everybody. We want to represent what's lutherie or boutique instrument building look like right now. We want everybody, we want everything. So that means young builders, women, all builders, well-known builders, everybody. I think it's important because then everybody can share, and the new ones can meet the older ones, and vice versa. So I think it
was great to meet Sergey de Jong.
Yeah.
He's somebody that I've not met before, and obviously he's been so influential, and a lot of his kind of proteges and kind of his apprentices were there
Yeah,
as well.
a few of them were exhibiting at the show as well. Yeah.
And that was really great. I really enjoyed meeting people like Jeremy and Mike Kennedy. Came away feeling very, very inspired, and I think that's, for me, that was the big takeaway from the show. Just seeing a really broad range of work, and seeing different ways of doing things, and it's kind of left me feeling really, really inspired.
And I think it's important that I always wanted to mix pedals and amps. To me, that is a very important part of a show, because people will see more than just guitars, more than just, and especially I try to always make, well, we try, but I often do the table placement, but I always think about not putting everybody in one corner and the other part in another corner, because I think people just stumble upon things in the show just like that. Oh, look at that, pedals. And maybe I'll try one, or oh, I want to try those guitars, but maybe I'll try those guitars into those pedals, which I think makes it really interesting.
For sure.
And more, I think it pushed more visitors to see different things, and they have to see some different things.
Did you have any favourites from the show? Any guitars that you really liked?
Let me think. I really enjoyed Mike Barnick guitar for.
It's electric.
Yeah, it's electric.
Yeah.
Well, it's acoustic too. I think the tort appointments are really interesting in the cutaway, and
I love the offset shape as well.
Yeah,
I think it's really nicely balanced.
And the Frank Brothers guitars were mind blowing.
Super.
Like the
clean.
level of fit and finish is just crazy good. As always, Ev Meister guitar is
definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was really good. And second year in a row on that guitar, because she had one last year, and she does amazing work. And
it was the first time for me coming across her work. Just a really simple, very well executed guitar, sounded really lively, and it was a really nice mix of kind of like traditional American guitar building, but with like a modern kind of simplicity to it as well. Just really nice. I also really loved Lenny of Daddy Moses. His
Lenny's Rosita.
Blacktop Rosita, especially. I just thought, again, a really nice mix of kind of Art Deco styling with modern building, and I just think that was perfect.
So I want to thank you guys for coming to the show.
Our pleasure.
And all the volunteers that without them the show wouldn't be what it is. And big up to my organizer friends, and so that means Théo Cazourian, Joël Barbeau, Mathilde Loisel, and my wife Anne-Marie. So
very well done. The hard work, it was really plain to see. Like there was a lot of effort that went into the show, and a lot of love as well. It was really.
I
really
think we do it. As we usually say, it's a show by the luthier for the luthiers, and I think we do it, with our heart, and we just don't. We don't really do it for money. We just do it because we like it, and it's just we just want to have people to have fun and share experiences and building tips and whatever you want to share.
Yeah.
So.
And there was lots of great conversations and very much enjoyed.
Thank you.
So looking forward to Sonore 2020.
Yeah,
I expect you'll have a huge influx of applications.
Yeah, we hope so.
So, as we've already mentioned, we are here in the Theatre of Dreams. where dreams are literally made. This, I've been familiar with your work now for a couple of years, and you've always been one of my favourite builders. And I think if I was going to get an electric guitar, yours would definitely be top of my list. So we're kind of sat now in your kind of your music room, your kind of
showroom, music room.
That's kind of adjacent to your workshop.
Yep.
We're in your home as well, which is really awesome. We've been here all week. I wanted to talk a little bit about Millimetrics, the brand, its inception, and you as a builder, and a little bit about your philosophy. So, give us a little rundown about where you kind of got started in guitar building, and your kind of history and design before that.
Well, I started thinking about building guitars when I started guitar, because my first instrument is drums. And leaving my parents' home, I was thinking about getting into another instrument that I could play in my apartment, wherever I would be. And yeah, I started playing guitar. A friend of mine gave me a guitar just to try, and I bought one a few months after, and yeah, I moved to Paris. Started really getting into guitars a lot and playing a lot. So
how old would you be at this time?
20, I think. I was studying graphic design and photography at the time, and I very rapidly discovered that I wouldn't do that as a job, and I kind of started thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to start a guitar brand or build guitars. And around that time I stumbled upon Obstructure and all the noise, the 90s, late 90s noise rock scene, and I got really interested into Steve Albini's work and all that jazz. And so I really started looking into going to schools, or a way to learn the guitar building craft. And so I applied to the Montreal, because I saw I think 3 schools. I saw the one in London, in London. But it's more oriented towards violin. And where are you?
I'm not sure. Westdean, perhaps.
I don't remember but I knew that there was one in England. I think I looked at Roberto Venn in Phoenix, and there was a Bruon school in Montreal. So I ended up thinking, Montreal is a good place to start, because it's English, it's French mostly, but you can still speak English if you want to. And that would be a good learning experience. So I applied there, wasn't accepted because they didn't took any French student at the time. And so I decided to go to in cabinet making, and maybe reapply to Luther a year after. But I got so much fun. I had so much fun at the cabinet making school. Fell back in love with design, furniture design, because since I was a kid, my parents took me and my brother to IKEA very often, and I always liked decoration and furniture, and as a kid I would always change the decoration, the placement of my room, and every time I got to IKEA, it was like going to a toy store for me.
Sure, yeah.
So I kind of fell back in love with furniture design and design in general. And so I decided to stay in cabinet making, and I kind of not forget about making guitars, but that wasn't in the in the forefront of what I was thinking about doing. But after my second year, one of my roommate was a product designer, and we started talking about what would you do if you were to design a guitar, and we got talking and about shapes, and I was starting to think about making some cabinets for speaker cabinets, but with the very like furniture making in mind. So they would look different and be treated more as a really nice piece than just
an ugly box.
an ugly square box with Tolex on it.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about that, and one day I said, I'm gonna try to make a guitar, and I think that was during my third year at school, and one of my teacher gladly opened his door of his workshop for me, and I made my first guitar in I think it was winter 2011. That was my first prototype. It looks kind of like my MG6 model, but it was a bit different, very not really playable, because I didn't know a lot about making frets, how the neck worked, and doing a proper setup and things like that. Actually, I think I got the router hit a bit of the side of the neck, so I made him straight, but I didn't thought about the bridge being too large.
Yeah.
So I had to grind the the saddles to narrow the string spacing. So yeah, it was a bit not good.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, but and after that I made 3 more the next summer, and sold one to one of my friends for cheap, because I was just paying he wanted the guitar, and it was a good exercise for me. And after that, I started. I branded after the first one, I thought about the name Millimetric, and that was how things started for me. I went from a few, like one or two guitars a year, to 24. About 24 guitars a year now.
That's incredible.
So
and you have a year wait list as well.
Yeah, around a year. I try to keep it around that. I don't want it to be more, because I don't feel comfortable having people's money in my bank account for too long. It's a bit stressful for me. So and so far it's been like that for almost 2 years, 2 years and a half.
Amazing.
So I'm lucky, and I'm good. Well,
So we've already talked about some of your influences of the Travis Bean guitars, Obstructure guitars.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding an MGS3 right now. Talk us with this guitar in mind. Talk us through some of the key features that make a Millimetric guitar.
Well, I think first is the neck joint, influenced by Obstructure and Travis Bean, obviously. But I think the key feature is the simple lines. That pick guard that is always present, even though that one is not full body. Usually on my guitars it's a full body pick guard. The slant also, the chamfer.
I'll just jump in there. That is one of the first things you notice when you pick up the guitar. It feels amazing. It really, you're used to kind of getting a guitar and it being like a thick strap body, but it just totally changes the kind of approach to the instrument. So that's one of my favorite things.
The thickness is 31.5, but it tapers out to around 16, 15, depending on the.
It feels great.
Where you are on the chamfer, because that part is thicker than that one. But yeah, it felt. I think that was an idea from my friend Thomas, who was a product designer, my roommate. He said, "Oh yeah, you should do a chamfer like that." And I did it on the bass at first, but not on the guitar. And after a few years, I decided to might be cool to have that chamfer in the guitar. And at first it was really, I wasn't digging too much, but on I think that yellow one, I decided to go deeper and to taper out to 15 millimeters, and that's when things started to look a bit more like all those guys. So I think those are the key features. The headstock is highly inspired by Travis Bean and Obstructure, but it has my own twist on it.
Mhm.
Now I do.
You got the volute on the back.
I do the volute as well on the back, so it if it's a good mix between a more classic design and a more modern design, and also one key features of I think my work is my fret work.
Yeah, amazing.
So I close the fret slot ends with either black or white veneer oil plastic shim stock, and I do a ball and frets. So and they're a little bit recessed inside the neck, so you can't feel any. You will never feel the. Yeah, because I had some guitars that the wood shrinked a bit, especially being local wood, and they will have the tendency to move around from season to season. So that's why I tend to recess the frets a bit, because sometimes they can get out just a tiny bit, and that's why I prefer to recess them just a tad, so you won't ever feel them, and you will always feel comfortable.
I want to talk about woods, color, texture, and finishes.
Yep.
And kind of wrap that up in one package.
Mm-hmm.
On this guitar, you've got a cherry neck.
Yep.
Which has been beautifully oiled with the
Livos. Yeah.
Then we've got almost like a textured matte paint finish on
that paint that is a metallic paint with some floor varnish, which is what I used on top of my paints. That one is a little bit texture because sometimes those metallic paint will make a bit of they will have a bit of texture in them. Yeah. And sometimes it's kind of like a happy accident,
But like this one behind us, for example, this has got more like an open grain.
Yeah, that one is milled paint, which I use for solid colors and not metallic. And it has the floor varnish on top of it as well. But yeah, the walnut is open pore, and I never seal the grain at all, because I want sometimes you can feel the paint sinking back into the grain, and even on maple sometimes you are able to see like that one. The paint on that one is a bit thicker than what I usually do now, but you can still feel a bit of wood, and I think that's very important for me on an instrument, is that I don't want it to feel plasticky.
Sure.
I want to feel I want to still be able to feel the nature of the instrument. So yeah, and one other thing that is characteristic to my work is I think that I never do put too natural wood on one guitar.
Right.
So you always get like, if the instrument is all natural wood, it has to be one wood, all natural, because I think it looks like that's part of, to me, the minimalistic look. When there is more, it starts to look more busy, and I don't really like that.
But you might do something like you'll oxidize the neck, maybe. Like
yeah,
if you're doing like a walnut neck. I know you've oxidized those.
Yeah, I did that once. Where the neck was walnut oxidized, and maybe I could do walnut oxidized and a natural cherry body, for example. That could be done. But yeah, usually I prefer to, because black to me is not really a wood color. Sure. It's just it's not even a color. It's just like something that holds the guitar together. I do my own custom hardware, except the tuners, but the bridge, and that is a vibrato prototype, the first version.
Which is very cool.
There will be a second version pretty soon. That will because that one only goes down. The second version will go up and down. And usually custom pickups. Those ones are my recreation of a lipstick type pickup. And I have like a few other models in the line as well.
I think that's really important. A really important part of your designs is that everything speaks of the concept. So you all of the hardware is designed to work with your specific instruments. You're not just cutting out a shape and dropping in some stock hardware.
No, and it's
The whole feel of the instrument is very cohesive.
yeah, and that's one thing that I really wanted when I started making guitars, is that I didn't want to, to make Telecasters or Strats or anything that is is not called a Strat but could look like it, anything, even the hardware. I didn't want to put parts caster together.
Sure.
So whenever I can, I design a part. So yeah.
Cool. I think that's probably a good place to kind of wrap it up. Is there anything else you wanna talk about?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Sweet. All right, man. Well, it's been great.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's been great to sit down with you, and can't wait for Sonore episode 4.
2020.